Hey everybody, it's Annalise. I just wanted to come on here and this week, instead of showing a lot of what I did this week since I didn't do too much that was interesting, I thought I'd do a little lesson of the stuff I've been learning in my Irish language class because I had a good week, but it was pretty low-key. There was a talent show I went to with some of my friends that actually all the acts were incredible, and so it went much better than we were expecting. But other than that, the real highlight of the week was on Monday. My Aunt Jean came to, not to visit, she was here for work, but we got to see each other, and that was really nice. And my cousin Daniel sent this with her, this little stuffed dog, it's the dog that's the mascot of his high school, Lou, and it is incredibly soft and very fuzzy and warm and nice, and he meant to send it to tease me a little bit because we tease each other about each other's schools all the time, but the joke's on him because I actually really like it. And he had to get the school disciplinarian to unlock the gift shop for him to buy it, so he both embarrassed himself in the process of getting it, and then I really enjoyed it, so it's really a lose-lose for him, but a win on all sides for me because it is the cutest little stuffed animal. And it's a high school that, my cousin goes to, but my uncles went to, my grandpa went to, his brother, so it is a nice little, reminder of my family. So that's very cute. That was the highlight of my week. But I thought, otherwise I have a few phrases that people, texted me and stuff that they wanted to hear in Irish after I mentioned it last week. So I just have a few words I thought people might be interested in hearing. Irish is a very interesting language, not similar at all to English or any romance languages or anything like that. But it's really, it's been really fun to, kind of take on the challenge of learning such a new and different language. And so one common, I don't know if misconception is exactly the right word, but a lot of people call the language Gaelic, which is technically not really correct. Gaelic more refers to the Scottish version of Gaelic. Irish is a subset of a type of language that can be called Gaelic, but it's confusing because in Irish, the word for the Irish language is Gaeilge, which, especially in an Ulster dialect, sounds like Gaelic. And so that can be very confusing, but I'll be referring to it as Irish. That's what it's called here. And the dialects are also something I should mention before getting into the rest of this. Obviously, my pronunciation might not be perfect since I'm an American just now learning Irish, but if it does differ from any other place you hear it, the difference could be that there are 3 different main dialects of Irish. So there's Ulster, Connacht, and Munster, and in some ways they're obviously the exact same, but in some ways the pronunciations can differ very, very wildly. So the pronunciations I've learned are mostly through instructors that have mixes of the Munster and Connacht dialects, so it's a mismatch of those. I really don't know any Ulster at all, so it won't sound like that, but I'm trying my best with the other pronunciations, so hopefully I'm not saying anything too incorrectly. So first off, if you want to say hello to someone, that's Giowich. And then to say hello back to someone, you say Gia Ismirovich. And then to ask someone how they are, you say Konasatatu, is how are you? And to say you're doing well, in response to that, you can say Tamegoma. And that just means, I'm doing well. And then Falcha is welcome. And a really common phrase to see, a lot in the airport or in, tourist destinations around Ireland is the phrase Céad Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. It's just kind of, a phrase that's used a lot here that's nice. And it reminds me a lot of in New Orleans, like, you'll say, like, merci, merci mille fois, like, thank you 1,000 times. So it's kind of cool to see it reflected in another language. And a kind of similar sounding word is sláinte, which means cheers. So I'd say that's the Irish I hear by far the most often in day-to-day life. You know, sometimes you'll hear people speaking other snippets of Irish, but sláinte you'll hear quite a bit at pubs and stuff. And then slán is goodbye. Go raibh maith agat is thank you. And as you're probably thinking as I'm saying these and then like the text on the screen, yeah, the alphabet is not the same as the English alphabet. It's very confusing to see how some of these words are spelled versus how they're pronounced. But, you know, obviously it was just based on a different alphabet, fewer letters, so different letter combinations had to make up for those sounds and that kind of thing. So it is very different. So then to ask someone's name, to say, what is your name, is Cara sanam dit? And then you can respond either, well, the most, like, appropriate response to that is blank is enam dom, is like, blank is my name. That would be more the response to that, but if you're just introducing yourself, maybe more unprompted, it could be is Misha blank, and that's more like I am blank. So the word or words for Dublin is Baile Átha Cliath, which Baile is something you'll see in all kinds of different places because it does just literally mean like town, and in certain contexts it can be used to mean like home or different versions, but you'll see it a lot in towns, and that's why there are so many places throughout Ireland called like Bally something else, because that was like the English version of Baile, and so like Ballyfermot is, you know, Baile Fermot. And like Dublin bus is called Bus Átha Cliath, and like there are a lot of places that it's used throughout the city. And then a special request I got for a translation was from my dad, wanted to know how to say biomedical engineering. So engineering is ina tracta, and then to attach the biomedical to it, at least the best translation I could find online would be ina tracta bilesh. And so that's the type of engineering he does, but then I wanted to find out my specific subset, which is biological engineering, and so that would be ina tracta biholiac. And so obviously both of those have like the B, like the, you know, bio prefix. And yeah, I think those were all the phrases I had like requested that I thought might be interesting for anyone to hear. I hope this hasn't been too boring, but I think it's a very interesting language, and there are just some very like fun parts to it, and I think it's always cool to learn another language and hear how some of the phrases are used so differently than in English. Like to say you speak Irish, you say Tagwelga agam, which literally translates to I have Irish, and so it's just interesting to learn those types of things where it's a very different sentence structure and way of using verbs than English has. So it's definitely been a nice challenge, like way to stretch my brain while I've been here, because it can be very confusing. But, you know, my friends and I are starting to be able to recognize bits of the announcements they'll make on the bus, because everything is in English and Irish, because Irish is the first official language of Ireland, so it's on all the street signs and everything like that. And we can also start to recognize some of the words to this band called Kneecap, that it's this rap group from Belfast that rap almost exclusively in Irish, and they're really the first act of their kind to do something like that, so they're very well known among Irish speakers. Split opinion on if people like their music or not. It's definitely a very specific type of genre, but it's fun to at least be able to recognize some of the words from it. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well and that this wasn't too boring or anything. But yeah, me and Lou are both saying have a great week and talk to you later. Bye.